All right, here's a video review for Fansproject's their Saurus Ryu-Oh combiner, their version of Dino King. This is DINOICHI, which roughly translated means Dino 1. And Dino Ni, the other one that's currently out, is Dino 2, and we're getting Dino 3 and Dino 4 soon. But anyway, so yeah, he's based off of it's based off of Dino King, which was basically a Japanese repaint of Monstructor over in Japan. And he came, instead of the monster shells, he came with dinosaur shells. They were like dinosaurs with like armor on them and stuff. They kind of look like Dino Riders. And you could put the little robots on the shells. They are making shells for these. I guess they sold the first one up in Ontario Con, Collectors Con or something like that. Actually earlier today. And the shells were roughly $70 US. Now that is, I don't take that as the final price. That was the convention price. It was a small batch that was sent to the convention, and I guess there was some customs fees that apparently that shipment got hit pretty hard with, and so to make up the difference, they cost a little more. They will be making their appearance at conventions and things. I don't know where else. They should be up on Fansproject Core. I don't know what the full release plan is for those yet. But they are making shells. They should be cheaper than they were this past weekend at the Collectors Con. That was a special shipment sent up there. So keep your eye out. But for the figure itself, they're actually pretty fun whether you get the shells or not. I'm debating on the shells because they're very large, because these guys can fit inside of them. And so they take up a lot of space. And that space I don't really have. Like, I love the idea. I love that they're making shells for them to homage the old toys. But I might get the Stegosaurus shell just because it's Stegosaurus. But yeah, they double as banks. You know, they're fairly, like I said, they're fairly decently sized. I just, if I had more room to display something like that. Now, if they do the Monstructor recolor of this, which I know is coming, and they do the shells for Monstructor, I might get those because Monstructor. But anyway, so here's DINOICHI. He's kind of a troll. He looks kind of like a blot-ish type of character. His mouth here opens, which is cool. And the neck does have some movement. You can have him look up or down a little bit, depending on how you want. I've got the legs. You can position the legs however you want. I've got them positioned kind of hunched over. I like the hunch look to him. Makes him a little shorter in monster mode and all that stuff. He's got these big claws that are on ball joints. And he's fairly poseable here in alt mode. Just because he uses a lot of the joints from the main robot. He's got the same shoulders. Now the shoulders rotate up here, and they are on a hinge as well that lets the whole shoulder assembly move. And I'm not entirely sure why, because they tend to work in the same positions as, if you bring them down here, I guess you could bring them down here for troll mode, but that seems a little low. Okay, well, maybe not. So yeah, we'll bring him down here for troll mode. It's entirely up to you where you want to stick him. But he's got the joints up there. He's got the bicep swivel, dual hinged elbows here. He's got the ball joint here where the claw attaches so that you can get a lot of decent positions out of that claw. Up here he has a waist swivel. He's got inner and outer hip swivel, thigh swivel, knees that click, and then he's got a ball joint on the foot. And like I said, a lot of those, his transformation is not super involved into a robot mode, so a lot of those joints are the same joints in robot mode. And I turned him into a robot. We just bring his head all the way down like this. I'll go ahead and straighten the legs up, flip the kneecaps up. The kneecaps, maybe you can flip those out in monster mode. I was just flipping them back to have a little visual distinction between monster and robot mode. And then rotate the knees up. Now, some people have had some problems where this little peg here that holds one of the ratchets in place, I believe, has snapped. I haven't had that problem. I've been very careful with it, but do be careful with yours just in case. So rotate his whole waist around like this. Rotate the feet around like that. So the white with the red is in the front. Come up here to the monster head, flip out his robot mode head. If you pull the shoulders down, pull them up. Bring the arms down. Actually, it helps if you lift these up a little bit like this, and then rotate the arms around, and then rotate them down, because otherwise the arm will, either way, will kind of bump up against that piece. It's easier if you have the shoulders rotated forward a little bit. So bring the arms down, and then down here you flip out his fist on each side like this, and then this whole assembly on the end of the arm rotates around. The fist comes down, and the claw rotates around, and then folds up. You can see there's a little slot there for one of the claws, folds up onto the back of the forearm, which allows the fist to come all the way out. And again, just rotate that around, rotate the fist or the claw on the ball joint and fold it up, bring the fist down. And there he is in robot mode. Now, I do think, like, one side has, you can see the screws very clearly on one side, and the other side just has a couple little divots. And I almost wish they'd flip these hip pieces around, because the way he transforms, those screws are visible on the front of the legs in both modes. You could probably swap those fairly easily yourself if you felt like it. And maybe there's a reason for doing that. But yeah, I may paint them gray, find a dark gray that matches this, and just kind of cover them with some paint to hide them a little bit better. And like I said, here he is. He's still maintained, like I said, he's got the same basic range of posability. He's got a ball joint on his head, so his head can look up and down and all around. He's got the same shoulder, bicep, like all the joints remain the same. They just kind of swap around and switch positions to look like the robot, which is what transforming is. He does end up having a giant monster head on his back. And you can't really, I thought maybe you could fold that up, or it doesn't fold down any further than that. And if you fold it up, it just kind of pushes his head forward and moves the neck out of the socket. It should sit right down there and like that. So yeah, and just to give you an idea, he's a little bigger than a Robots in Disguise Deluxe. You can see there he is with the gold armor Grimlock. He also comes with a gun. And you can use, the pictures all show it like this, but this little set of the tips does slide out of there, so you can have it, give it a little bit more definition there on the end of the gun. He also comes with the feet and fists. You can see the fists clip right in here for the combined mode. That also double as like missile launchers, and then you can see the guns on the fists. And these can attach to him in a couple of different ways. His gun he can hold in his hands. And then this little tab right here, where the foot will connect on the combiner, you can plug in. You want to, you can. There's a little slot up here on his arm. You can slide these into the back of his arm like this, and you can carry those around. And when they're up like this, you can kind of open these up to give them some shoulder missile launchers, like that up there. See if we can get him a little further back, get a little bit more of that in the frame. So yeah, so you can carry him around on his back like that, or if you want, you can use those same tabs. There's a slot up here on the front that you could have them facing either forwards with the missile launchers if you want, or you can rotate them around, close that up, and use the side tab to tab into his shoulder and have kind of shoulder-mounted cannon like that. And because he's got these big feet, regardless of where you attach them, he's actually pretty sturdy either way, which is nice to have these big pieces. Adding some both either weight to the back, or in this case, if you had them both up here, weight to the front. But you can see he's actually, I haven't had any trouble getting him to stand or stay. He's very solid and secure, no matter how you attach these. You can see even being front heavy, he's not really prone to falling over. And of course, he does form the torso for the combiner. And you just flip his head in like this, and then open this up, at which point the whole combiner head comes up out of here. I flip up his little head crest, folds all the way up, and then rotate it around to the face this way. Now there's a couple tabs here that look like, and a couple slots right above it, that look like this is intended to be locked into place. Because as it is, when you close these, you can see there's no room here, and there's no room to add a piece to latch into these when you close these up. You can see there's a gap there. And if you had anything filling that gap, you wouldn't really be able to close those with the combiner head folded up. So I feel like at some point, because this piece is going to fold back for transformation, I feel like whenever you connect the lower bot, because his torso is made up of an upper and a lower bot, a lot like Devastator. I feel like there's a piece that's going to maybe come up here, like slide up through here and lock this into place. Will it? I don't know. We'll find out when the next one comes out. But I mean, as it is, he doesn't have a problem like keeping his head in place. But if you turn it back, it does tend to flop a little bit. It's fine for posing. It is on a ball joint. But like I said, will it or will it not lock into place? We'll find out. I suspect that those tabs are there for a reason, though. So once that, get that up, bring the head down. There's a little panel here under the head that folds down just like that. Rotate the shoulders around and snap them in like that. So this detail right here is in the front. And then the claws, you rotate them around like this. Rotate this around so you can see this little groove right here matches up with this little groove on the wrist assembly. Fold his wrist in, and then this little groove is going to fit over this tab right here. So you fold it up at both joints and get that to slide up over that groove, and then the claws fold up around those black pieces there. And same on this side. And once that's done, you kind of want to start back here. There's a little groove here you can see inside the arm. And then you just kind of rotate that, or make sure this stays up, and rotate it down like that. Like this, so that tab on the inside of the arm goes into that groove. And fold that up. And then the legs, lift them up back here. I think we're actually want to rotate this around like this. You flip the feet out. Kind of pull them, unpeg them from here and flip the feet out. This, and they're going to, and then you fold them. Yeah, every time, oh, there we go. That peg just broke. That's what I was talking about. There's a lot of resistance in there. You see the knees work just fine. Now it just doesn't click. You should fold up. Like this? Yeah, like this. Up onto the back, fold the kneecaps forward. So you want them like this. Folding them up. Oh, wait, this should go on the outside, so I should have had that turned around. Okay, whatever. There we go. You want to fold them up with the kneecap up. This little tab should fit kind of right in there in this little groove here on his back. Fold the kneecap forward. Bring this one, rotate this one around. Bring it up. You can see his head flopping around there. That's why I suspect that locks. The fold it, just kind of collapse these up onto his back, and then the feet peg together. Just like that. That's not rotated properly, but one of these legs is not. There we go. So he does have a little bit of a backpack there. But in there, oh, okay. The hip twist there is keeping this from getting this in. This should come up a little higher and snap into place. And then, like I said, the feet. All these ball joints are being a pain in my butt. But it sits up there like that. And there's the torso. And we'll show off what he looks like with the arm here when we get to the second one.